I want you to meet Lindsay and Becky of Lindsay Hill Design. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to the 21st century, because we are not in the same place, but we are going to make this happen, because Lindsay and Becky have a story to share, and I think that you all should hear it so that you'll learn a little something and help you along your way. So now it's time to find out a little bit about Lindsay and Becky. Lindsay, take it
So,
away.
where do we start? I wonder.
I don't know.
So I'm the principal and creative director of Lindsay Hill Design. We are
Mm-hmm.
a branding firm located in Charlestown, Mass. And we've been in business for close to 3 decades. Becky actually joined me as my studio manager and part-time copywriter about 1.5 years ago. And we've had a great collaboration here. I think my gumption and my wherewithal and my attitude of helping people become the better person that they can be, and helping clients, really find out who their true spirit is and help them get that message across to the world, might stem a little bit from my very interesting background. I was born in a very wealthy suburb of Lake Forest, Illinois, and my parents pretty soon after joined an organization which is still around, located in Chicago, Illinois, and also worldwide, called the ICA, the Institute of Cultural Affairs. And the mission of the ICA, which I just looked up online, is to build a just and equitable society in harmony with planet Earth, sustainable initiatives, socially minded nonprofit, which is interesting because that's very progressive compared to where I feel that it started out.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, it had a little bit more of a religious aspect to it. I'm not going to say it was all religious, but it was very, very community driven. And my parents actually traveled overseas a few times, left my brothers and I with guardians here and there. So they were like family members to us. And they traveled overseas to teach community rejuvenation. And along those travels, my mom, who was one of the founding members, or one of the first family members of this organization, the ICA, she and all the women, the other wives, I guess they would be at that point, created a coalition called the Women's Movement. And it was very progressive, and they were all about supporting each other and really uplifting women, not only in their own little microorganism, but also internationally. They traveled to India, to Egypt, all over Europe. They traveled the world teaching community rejuvenation and empowering, from the women's movement, women. As the men, which is interesting because it kind of was a little bit of men, women, and then family combined. They did their own type of teaching. But I don't want to spend, 20 minutes talking about the ICA. I do feel that absolutely gives me a bit of the sense of who I am today.
So were the women pretty much, I don't know, it sounded almost like the women were running the show.
I know, right?
Which is a surprise thing, the way what you're explaining. It's almost like, hey, is this like a cult or something?
Right?
Yeah.
There are actually some books out there in the world that are written about the ICA. I have one on my nightstand that I have not yet read.
Oh my God.
I'm going to, because there are a lot of children, or I call myself a child. That's hysterical. I'm a 54-year-old successful businesswoman. I'm calling myself a child. But I was a child then, growing up in the ICA. And there are many, many stories to be heard, many stories to be told, just interesting. They tried to get my brother, who is 3 years older than me, to go overseas to Australia and teach when he was about 13 years old, like as a little prodigy.
Wow.
Yeah, and that didn't happen. My mom's like, we're moving back to Lake Forest. Let's get on. The ICA is basically in the ghetto of Chicago. And so I was in school in the ghetto of Chicago, experiencing real life scenarios on a daily basis for, a few 5 years of my childhood. My mom, who's still very healthy and alive, is still very much in touch with the women leaders who are still alive. My father passed away 7 years ago, actually. But a lot of his friends, the ones that are still alive, we're still very much in touch with.
Your brother's not though, right?
No, they are. They actually all
your
have
brother is.
Yeah, we all have very strong feelings. It's interesting. It's very almost love-hate relationship, because there was a lot of, when you're a child growing up in the inner city, which is a much nicer phrase than the ghetto, the inner city, and your parents are flying overseas and leaving you with guardians, you question a lot. You start to question what's going on. but they were mission driven
Wow.
as a whole
Interesting.
organization. So that's
So is that, Lindsay, is that what makes you, do you feel mission driven?
Absolutely. And that's part of what I do for my clients, or for our clients, I
Yes.
should say, is that, you know, we don't just go in and design something that makes it look pretty. We stop and think and get to know our clients and put them through a strategy exercise, you know, the background discovery, strategy and research and positioning, to make sure that the message is clear and concise and delivered to the audience, their audience, target audience, in a clear, concise fashion, in the correct channel. It's all mission based. It's all mission driven. So yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Wow.
That makes sense to you?
It's wild. Wow.
Yeah.
So now tell us more about how you got started, even with your own business, and then, you know, what you and Becky do together, and Becky, how you even found Lindsay.
I know. How did you find Lindsay Hill Design?
Well, obviously you might have realised by now I'm British from England.
Mhm.
So once my visas had cleared and I had work authority, we moved over here with my husband's work. I think you had a job posting on LinkedIn, and I was looking for something kind of creative, but with some, I've always liked writing, always enjoyed.
And you have a
that
marketing
kind of,
background.
Yeah, I have a
very strong marketing background, which I was looking for something to help me expand my business. You know, Becky is way more than just a studio manager per se. She's not my bookkeeper. She's not just, you know, filing paperwork by any means. Becky is very, very involved with the daily activities at LHD, Lindsayhilldesign. And she does a lot of copywriting for us. She does some of the client strategy and positioning exercises. We'd love to have her do more new business pitches. She does a lot of proposal writing with me. So she's like my right-hand person.
Yeah.
And Becky and I definitely uplift each other. Like if one of us is having a imposter day, like imposter syndrome, like who am I? What am I doing? Do I actually know what I'm doing? What is branding? Who am I? Then the other person can jump in and say, come on, let's get this.
Yeah.
Let's pick up the ball and run with it.
Yeah, I think
That's great. That's great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Lindsay's never been kind of, you're more, not dictatorship, like the opposite. It's very involving with not just me, but all of her employees.
I do. We have the staff participate on a daily basis. It's very, very contextual. It's very fluid. Everyone is giving feedback constantly. It's not like any one designer is designing in a silo. That is not how we work here. And we often take things out into the hallway, map things up with tape all over the walls, and then bring Becky out there, you know, give us your marketing opinion on this. It's just very fluid. It's very fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. So now, Lindsay, you guys are up there. You are off and running because you've been doing this. I can't believe it. 30 years.
Almost
30 years.
Yeah.
So what? So
out of college. So basically out of college, I graduated from UNH. I moved down to Boston with a bunch of girlfriends. I worked at the World Trade Center balancing the checkbooks for the CFO for my first job out of college. I was a math major at UNH for the first 2.5, 3 years with a business degree under my belt in the art. I graduated with a business degree, I should say. Moved from math to business and economics, and I had an art minor. And I didn't really know what to do with my love of art. I was doing photography and sculpture, and a lot of photography and a lot more sculpture. And I didn't really know how to combine the two. I'm very left and right brain. I'm smack in the middle. If you took one of those surveys, I'm 50% left and 50% right. I'm a spreadsheet queen, but I'm also a creative director. And I think that's how I can run a business, because I like doing both. I like the strategy and the creative aspect. So I started designing things. I was a restaurant worker. I worked as a waitress all over Boston, many, many restaurants. And I met a lot of my first clients by just being personable and chatting and like making connections and passing out business cards. And I'd go to local businesses, like out in Watertown, I go to my hair salon or a local gym. But I'm going to really date myself now. Joy of Movement. Anymore. And I would take their collateral, their brochures, and I would take them home and I'd redesign them. I'd walk them back over and I'd show them the newly designed pieces, and they'd be like, oh my gosh. And they'd hire me. So I started building my client base by just walking around and being very cognizant and aware.
It's the hard founding,
guerrilla marketing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good. And well, you showed them something that they didn't even know was possible. They're like, wow.
Exactly. Yeah, enlightening, right?
Yeah.
And I know you want to talk a little bit about my organizational efforts here in Charlestown. When I moved here before my daughter had just been born, Sophie's now 23, so it was 22 years ago. I guess. I moved to Charlestown and made a great group of very close girlfriends right away. And we formed a group which is now called the Charlestown Mothers Association. It always was called the CMA, the Charlestown Moms Association, but we were 5 women. And there are 5 of us, maybe 7. And we were all about empowering each other as moms. We all had babies, and we bring these babies out with us. And we just talk about, like, how are we getting to the next goal in our lives? What are we doing? Like, we don't want to just be at home nursing our children. And we, of course, we're caregivers, but we all have aspirations and goals for the future. And so we were very, very involved with each other and with giving back to the community. It's a very community-based organization. And it's now, I think, over 2,000 women large, and it's very, very influential. A lot of do-good going on here in Charlestown.
Wow. Becky, do you have kids too? Are you in?
No.
Oh.
No.
But
okay.
you've got nieces.
I've got 2 really super cute nieces
That she visits often.
1 and 3.
Okay.
But
I just was gonna. My next question would have been: so, are you in the group, or you don't live in Charlestown? But yeah, okay. So no, that's Lindsay. That's great, and they're still going strong. Like 2,000 people, from 5 to 2,000 people.
Yeah, and it's growing. I mean, we have different groups now. We have like the new moms group. We have the old moms group, and then we have like the basic monthly meeting. I don't really attend them anymore. I've left Charleston. I have my office here in Charleston, but I've left the community. I now live in Winthrop. So I'm just kind of outside of that at this point, but I still very much support them.
So now what's next? I mean, 30 years, you're rocking, you and your partner and your and everybody that you know, Becky and everybody that works there. What's next at Lindsay Hill Designs?
No, Renee, it's a really good question. We are really, really busy, and I'm really proud of where we've taken my firm.
That's
I'm
great.
still doing a lot of teaching and mentoring. I do a lot of mentoring, lecturing, a little bit of teaching at the different colleges in town. Mass Art is one of my favorites. Leslie School of Art and Design. Northeastern, I'm a guest lecturer.
That's great.
I think Lindsay is really important sometimes, because a lot of the young ones, yes, they do listen to their sort of parental role, but when another kind of experienced person is kind of giving them guidance or helping as well, I think it resonates.
That's
more.
nice.
Yeah, so that's a really.
It's so interesting. Thank you, Becky. It's so interesting. So the staff tends to be, either directly out of college or directly out of the graduate certificate program at Mass Art. So they can either be, 22 or 26 or 30. And I think of myself as their colleagues, as their, what's it called, when you're the same age. And I'm obviously not my peer.
Yeah, peer.
And, then I realized, oh my God, they're my daughter's age and I'm their parents' age. And it's just, it's okay.
But it's nice not to have those boundaries. It's nice just because we are a team, a creative team. So.
We are.
Yeah, but then at the same time, they can talk to you not like a mother,
but I do.
You just said, like a peer.
Yeah. And on the other hand, they can't talk to me like a mother. Sometimes they have issues at home, and we take a step outside and go get coffee, and we talk.
At personal level, yeah, absolutely.
Like any good boss should do.
Yeah. Oh, glad you said that, because that's another. What you're saying is something that people should pick up on, and as a takeaway to know. Sometimes just treat people that work with you like people, right? Professionally, but also personally.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, ladies.
Are we looking at you?
I think so. That's how this goes. I hope so. But no, this is great. Before I let you go, you have one more thing that you want to have as a takeaway that people should just know from your experience and or Becky's? All the women entrepreneurs.
I think I've got it all. No, I think it's the same thing. Like I've got one student who I'm really impressed with, who's coming to intern with me this summer. And she's a student currently enrolled at Mass Art, but she just took the first course called Foundations of Graphic Design, And I went and was a guest lecturer there a few months ago. And I gave out my business card, and I said to all the students, please feel free to come visit my studio, come meet my staff, come talk about your career goals. And oftentimes we get visitors, right?
We do, yeah.
Probably twice a month.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And this one young girl emailed me and said, I was so impressed with what you showed. And, I brought my portfolio, my laptop and everything on the website. And she said, I would love to intern with you. My name is XYZ, and I am 17 years old. I'm enrolled at MassArt. I'm homeschooled, and I want to interview you.
Wow.
She's joining the team this summer.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
This is so good. This is like the whole thing of out the door that I do want to get across consistently. Mentoring, paying it forward, helping with people that need help. Yes.
Yeah. Give back, right? We have so
yeah,
much
exactly.
We have so much to offer, and just like dive deep inside and figure out what you have to offer that you can really extend with love and warmth, and you know, people will gravitate towards you.
Absolutely. Ladies, thank you. This is great. I really appreciate it. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, and hang in there for your herstory.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.